coming to country or cross country or whatever it was, and then it brings out, and I might piss off a few people here, but they bring out Florida Georgia Line. I'm like, fuck this, man. Like,
I mean, it's shitty country music anyways, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was like, no, of course. Hey, welcome back to Too Hard, Too Fast, the podcast with strong opinions about things that we may or may not know too much about in order to broaden perspectives. Welcome back. We're back with Garrett T. Caps, and we're going to continue the conversation about his musical career. But the strong opinions, they're coming out today. We're having some strong opinions about country music and what, we feel about how country music has turned. So stick around for that conversation. Remember, once again, I Love San Antonio is out right now. You can get it on Spotify. You can find it anywhere you get your music. And album release party, September 10th. It's right around the corner. If you're watching this on Thursday, September 9th, it's right around the corner. We might be there. I'm trying to convince Worm to come down. So go check it out. Paper Tiger, San Antonio. Let's continue the conversation. Sit back, buckle up. Let's go too hard, too fast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
I like Austin, but I love San Antonio.
Welcome back to Too Hard, Too Fast. My name is Garrett T. Caps. Let's rock. Let's drink some beer.
But I love San Antonio.
The podcast of the century.
Well, if my wife was here, she would totally say that I've completely messed up a lot of your lyrics as I'm trying to sing while driving, and she's like,
Good.
That's not even what he's saying,
Good.
George. I'm like,
That's good.
just leave me alone. I'm just trying to enjoy. So what's up with the ambient sounds? I know it's like a remix from an other album that you have, but what made you want to go with ambient sounds?
So I have a band based out of San Antonio. I have all sorts of backing bands. Some do live in Austin. The band I'm playing with tonight is an Austin-based backing band. But my main San Antonio band is a psychedelic country band, is how it would be described, I think. And there's a dude named Justin Boyd in the band that processes my guitar signal through all these crazy synthesizers, and he makes space noises. And he wanted to remix my album In the Shadows again when it came out a few years ago for an ambient version. So I said, yes, please do.
How was that received? Because I like ambient sounds, but usually when I go to sleep, how was it received when you put it out? I don't know if I'd never heard of anybody doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively unconventional. So yeah, not that many people talk about it.
Well, that's why we're Too Hard, Too Fast. We bring out the random stuff.
Good.
Your song "Born in San Antonio," bringing back to that. It came out in Billions, the TV show Billions.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was talking about when I didn't think that people outside of town would like the song because it has a verse that just says all this shit about San Antonio that I know about or had to look up or was told about, and whatever. But something about it people like, and the director of that show Billions, I think this was in 2017, heard it on his Spotify customized playlist when he was on an airplane, freaked out, went on my bunk ass website at the time, emailed my email that didn't work.
Oh no.
Tried to correspond with me on my Facebook page that I don't check. I feel like at the time I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just playing local gigs all the time, with no direction. But I had an album on the internet that's pretty good, but no one was listening to it because no one knew who I was except for this guy. And he finally got a hold of me and told me he loved the song and wanted to use it in his TV show. So I said, cool. Some people, I mean, regardless of how he was going to use it, when your music gets used in a show of that caliber, it pays pretty well. But he used it in a way that was like extremely prevalent. Like they introduced a new character from Texas. The first scene of episode 1, season 3, Paul Giamatti is walking down the hallway and like my song's playing. Like you cannot, like, it's I don't really watch the show, but at the time, whatever the audience for Billions is or was, like they really latched on to whatever was part of the songs were playing in the soundtrack. It's like one of those soundtrack TV shows. And I was the only unknown artist on the soundtrack for that entire season, and maybe ever. And it's just kind of, people still watch the show and find me on the internet or come to concerts or whatever. But it was like a really crazy amount of exposure for me. I've gotten other TV show placements since then that paid the same amount of money, but you can't even tell the song is playing in the show. You know, it's like just, oh, wow, it's fucking nuts that this pays that much money and you can't even tell what music's playing. But in Billions, it wasn't about the money. It was about the presence of the song in the show. And he did that on purpose because he wanted to help me. And he helped me a lot. I released my next album a month after that show debuted. And it was like a very big help to promoting my new stuff.
When you got the call, or when he finally contacted you, was able to get to you, were you like, this isn't real? Or what was that? Or did you even know what the show was?
I didn't really know much about it, but I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, like when y'all hit me up, like I knew you were real people, but sometimes, you know, you get spammed by convincing spammers, so you got to kind of look out. But, or I guess in this guy's case, he's so intense. His name's Brian Koppelman. He has his own podcast, and he's a well-known director of movies, and he's a big music fan. Like, I couldn't tell if he was just some crazed dude that was like trying to get a hold of me in every single possible way that he could. But yeah, it all worked out. He was cool. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I was wondering, because I get DMs all the time and I can never tell when something's like a real deal or something's a real person. Like, and then so I'll just send like a stupid message back, and if they respond with something that doesn't have anything to do with that, it's like, okay, I know they're fake.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that does suck. That's why I was wondering, like, because I feel like I would be still too like, no, I don't know if this is real. I'm gonna go ahead and pass on it and just pass on a really good deal. I always wanted to get a perspective. We've had other musical artists on here, and I just find it really interesting. I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But what kind of effect did the pandemic have on you, on your country, on your music itself? Besides playing shows, but not being able to play shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, other than the obvious shit that happened to a lot of people, I mean, I've been able to tour. I've been able to go on tours in my own way. I'm not a bit like hugely popular artist by any means, but I've been able to tour for the last 3.5 years because I always have different irons in the fire at home. I work in the event production industry. I own a venue. I'm always booking shows. Like it's not just playing music for me, but that also means that like every aspect of my professional life is centered around gatherings. So last year was just a total mind fuck. I think if I worked, and it still is, I think if I worked for a corporation or something that could easily pivot to working from home,
Yeah.
you know, like that would be weird, but you can't do what I do from home, like digital gatherings and concerts. Like that isn't satisfying or cool, you know?
Did you ever get into those? Did you ever do them?
I did some, but I don't give a shit about that stuff. Like I need to go into the world.
Yeah,
Pretty
being out there. What's that feeling like being on stage? What is that?
I mean, the stage performance thing is definitely the typical like biggest high that I can get. I don't need to be drunk or anything. It's just like living in the moment is hard to do for a lot of people, but not hard to do on stage. It's always a flash. So yeah, that sucked not playing that many shows or conventional shows, or finding out what I didn't know what to do with myself since like nothing was going on, except I did record a shitload of projects that I'd wanted to do. So I did all sorts of conceptual records, but and some had strictly remote recording where I collaborated with people online. But it came around this time last summer, I had organized the band that plays on I Love San Antonio, and I decided, fuck remote recording. I'm going to organize a band that kicks ass, and they're going to learn my songs, and we're going to go into the studio and record them like a normal band. And then I did all sorts of overdubs and remote recording from there. But the energy had to be there. And the only way to get that energy is to have the band in the room together. So to answer your question, the pandemic sucked. But like we're talking about my new record, I Love San Antonio, which would absolutely not exist if I didn't have the time to work on a bunch of back burner projects. This was my honky tonk album, quote unquote. So,
Well, it's a really good album, and so if one good thing came out from all this craziness, this would be one of them, for sure.
Right on.
I think, if people listen to it, I would say Worm should listen to it a little more. He usually just listens to Bible verses, but I really enjoyed listening to it, man. I wanted to like get into it and for this interview, but more so it was just like it was just fun to listen to. Like,
and that's what it's supposed to be. Like of all the projects that I haven't released yet that are a product of last year and this year, this is the one I wanted to release first because it's really fun. And it seems like people are having fun listening to it. So that's cool.
For sure. And there's this one song, Neon Love Waltz. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. Yeah. But the girl that sings with you on that song,
Catherine. Yeah.
Yeah, golly. When she starts singing, it's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, man. She's a dear friend of mine. She's from here. She lives in Buda now, but she's lived in Austin for a long time.
Sometimes I cry and dream we could fly far out of this honky-tonk bar.
Yeah, her voice. It's really good.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah, I really love that song. So I saw somewhere that you also have a podcast yourself. Is that still something you're doing?
Yeah, I mean that we started that about 2 years ago, and we were doing interviews in person with bands that were touring through, or we'd go up to Austin or wherever and try to meet with them in person to do the interviews. But last year we started doing remote recording like this and really started getting shit done. So then we started rolling out this year, and basically there's a whole team, like a team of 4 or 5 of us behind this podcast, Trouble Country. And the whole idea is to kind of discuss and interpret the history of like counterculture and country music. And Trouble Country is what I call my music now. Like overall, that's like I make trouble country music, and I've always had trouble fitting in to different scenes or having people put a label on me. So it feels good to have created my own label. And,
yeah, like because you hear, well, like when I was trying to come up with a way to introduce you, and the kind of music you play, you hear all kinds of this, different kinds of country, and like red dirt country, Texas country, outlaw country. I like this. I like trouble country. I like that's definitely a new term, and I like the idea of,
Yeah, I mean, trouble country is a really, really broad spectrum, and like arguments on unreleased episodes include like, is Lil Nas X trouble country? Or I mean, Nelly's new shit is definitely trouble country. I haven't heard it yet, but he's definitely being marketed as this like famous rapper that is officially now in the country music realm. Like he messed with it a few years ago, but now it's like Nelly is a country rapper. It's really weird. I'm gonna listen to it after our interview, actually.
Well, if not to steal your whole episode on that, and I'm sure whenever you do release it, it's gonna have good topics on it. But I don't know how I feel about that, because sure, I like Nelly. I listened to him when I was young, and country grammar and all that stuff. And then when he did his stuff with Tim McGraw, that was cool. And we are talking about the same Nelly, right? That's the Nelly.
Oh yeah,
not Nelly Furtado.
Nelly. Yeah.
Okay. So then, I haven't heard any of it, but I saw a commercial with Nelly, coming to country or cross country or whatever it was, and then it brings out, and I might piss off a few people here, but they bring out Florida Georgia Line. I'm like, fuck this, man. Like,
I mean, it's shitty country music, anyways, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, no, of course, Nelly, who is rapping and is awesome at that, and has a good. I like the Tim McGraw song. I think Tim McGraw needed a little more stuff, more like presence in that, and then, but of course, it's going to be an easy jump with Florida Georgia Line, who practically raps every country song.
Right.
Sorry, I got a little.
Oh, no, I feel you, man. I feel you. It's like if I was going to label the new Nelly music as trouble country, I would also mention that it sucks. It's shitty trouble country. But it's weird. Country music's weird. Most things that come from Nashville these days, from something really terrible like Florida Georgia Line, all the way to even some of the like hipper, cool artists. Like there's something about Nashville that just sucks.
Yeah. It's totally different from the Nashville that I grew up wanting to visit when I was a kid. I was like, oh, George Strait, Alan Jackson, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That I enjoyed. I'm sure some people are like, no, George Strait was the beginning of the end. That's what some people would say. Or maybe
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks, definitely. So I'm a Garth Brooks fan, though. I don't know if
I don't know if
you are, but I'm a big Garth Brooks fan. But I can see where they say, his
I think
all over the place stuff.
Garth's definitely the beginning of like the arena country.
There, yeah. And you know what? I do say, because I can see my friends and family going, don't you like Kenny Chesney a whole lot? Like, isn't he one of your favorites? Yes, I do love Kenny Chesney, but it's different. It's island country.
That works. Island country.
You're right. But there's this new group that just came out, and they're totally Nashville, made or whatever. I don't know, maybe they're not Nashville made, but they're up there. They're called Cat and Alex, and they do something so different. It's Spanglish country, I guess you can say. It's
I haven't
Spanish.
heard that yet. No, I need to look that.
It's
that
Spanish
up.
and country music. So that's
How do
why
you
when
spell that?
it's Cat and Alex, K-A-T.
Oh, Cat and Alex, cool.
Mhm. So I think the girl's Puerto Rican and the guy's Dominican. I'm not sure what they are. Cuban. I think the guy, her husband is Cuban. So they'll do like half English, half Spanish songs. And I think it works well, and especially, like I speak sometimes half English, half Spanish. So I enjoy that part, especially that's why I really enjoyed the Margarita song, because it has that, like you said, the Spanish and English into it. And the conjunto.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I'll take it.
Fair enough. Okay, so we'll bring it to an end. There's a couple of questions that we want to ask. First one, I'll have Worm actually ask a question. Sorry, Worm. I know I talked over it.
Yeah. I mean, you always give me crap, but it's all right. It's not about you, bro. It's about the guest. But all right, I let you this time. All right, man. The famous question: do you have a too hard, too fast story? A too drunk to function story, or whatever you feel comfortable sharing, even if it's not about yourself. It could be about someone else. Some crazy ass story that you feel comfortable sharing.
All right, here's something. It isn't. Yeah, here is a story. Let's think. It isn't that crazy, but I'm not like a huge weed smoker or anything. But when I was traveling, whenever we travel through Colorado or whatever, or Portland or Oregon, places where weed is legal, we usually, like my band, there are definitely some heavy smokers in the band. We like to buy shit at the dispensaries, and I'm a lightweight, so you can get like heavy CBD joints. It's like 99.5% THC and like 99.5% CBD and like 0.05% THC. So it's not like the shit you buy here in San Antonio. It actually has some psychoactive effects or whatever. And that's enough for me, because I don't like getting super stoned or anything, but I like to relax and smoke something every once in a while. But
nice.
Anyways,
Worm is probably high right now.
Good.
Sunglasses.
We were in Seattle and we'd been smoking these weak ass joints and really enjoying it, like the lame dudes we were and still are. And I was like, I'm gonna like take some massive rips from this joint, this CBD joint. So I like
hard too fast.
It was like a morning we were heading to Bellingham, Washington, and I took some massive rips from what I thought was like a really tame joint, and I put it back in the case, and my friend goes, which one is that? And I like picked it up, and it was green crack. So it was like the highest THC, like doused in like wax or whatever, and then like keef is like everything, So like right as he was saying that, it was just like, and I was insanely high for like 10 hours or something.
Dang. Did you have to play a show at all, or were you?
Yeah, we played a show and it was weird, but it was a weird show anyways. So
you were able to play. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's the story that came to mind for whatever reason. But
wow.
That was definitely too hard, too fast. Too hard, too fast.
Oh, how did you feel on stage while you had that high?
Weird.
Oh,
Strange.
man. And there was no like weird like freak out like that
Like,
anxiety
shit,
feeling that
what am I
sometimes when
doing?
it's too much.
I think the anxiety had passed by the time it was time to jam. But you know, it was definitely like I get really, really anxious when I'm that stoned. That's why I don't like to smoke.
Yeah. No,
So-
I can relate. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have even got in on stage.
Why is everybody staring at me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just on the mic. What the fuck do y'all want?
Oh man. That brings to mind, have you ever like had like a moment like where everything went south on stage, like everything just like a really bad gig or mess up on stage?
Yeah. I mean, all the time. And so, I mean, it just depends. There's different varying degrees of chaos. In 2019, my last full tour of Europe, where we did the Netherlands, France, Spain, and Germany, and Belgium. By the time we were driving into Spain, the whole band was getting sick with something. It was something, and we were all getting sick in this van on our fucking awesome tour. And when we got to Barcelona, we were playing this rock club that was blasting like Def Leppard. And the people there were cool, but like we were all really feeling shitty and the sound was so bad. And I just remember like I can still see it. I can't see every stage. Like if I went and looked at my tour dates, I wouldn't remember how I felt at some shows. But I remember looking at my bandmates during that show with this packed small club, and it just sounded like shit, and it was humid, and like everyone in the band just looked like shit. And we left that tour, that club that night, thinking like that was the worst show we have ever played. And ironically, that is the one singular show I've heard the most about. Like someone posted about it like 2 days ago. Like I play probably 80 shows a year and have for 4 years. And that show gets posted about on the internet more than any of them. I don't even know why. Like I still think it was our worst show, but something about the crowd there really liked it.
Maybe they just like the fact that like you were like they got to see a normal. Well, this is what happened.
A struggle. Yeah.
You kind of I don't know, something. I wish I could see what are they posting videos or do they just post pictures of it?
There might be some videos somewhere if you look up Garrett T caps Barcelona.
I'm gonna try to see if I can find anything on there, and I'll add it to this. But with that said, we're coming to the end. I love San Antonio. You can get it now on Spotify, any audio platform. But where can somebody else? Where can they get a hard copy, or if they still
you can order the LP on vinylranch.com. That's the guy that put the record out for me. It isn't going to be out of the plant. The vinyl plants take forever these days. It should ship out by like November, so two months from now.
Right. And are you more of a hard copy kind of guy, or you're cool with the the new stuff that we do now? We just stream it.
I like to have. I think vinyl is cool. I usually buy my friends vinyl to support them. I think physical media is way easier to pay attention to. I struggle to pay attention to music on the internet when I know I can listen to everything.
Right.
If I have one CD in my CD player, I know CDs aren't that popular these days, but I just leave it in there. But if I'm listening to something on my phone in my car, I'm always thinking about the next thing I'm going to listen to. you know?
Yeah, I think for like a whole year, I went with the Kenny Chesney CD stuck in my truck. And so I think I almost gave up on Kenny Chesney because it was too much. So I could see where, like, you know, the hard copy and actually the whole physical, like, of having a vinyl and taking the actually physically putting it on the record, putting the needle down, and you're doing it with intent. I'm going to listen to this and I'm going to sit back and relax.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough. So thank you very much for being on here. We truly appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Garrett.
Yeah, thank you all.
With that said, we're at the end. Worm, what are you going to say?
Go see Garrett T Caps with a side of Pico de Gallo.
Woo! Go see him. Album release Fiesta, September 10, 2021. It's out now. If you're listening right now, this week, he's going to be there, Paper Tiger, on Friday, 6 p.m. Maybe Worm and I are going to show up. And we're not the main attraction at all, but
Show up. It'll be fun.
we definitely want to go. And I'm trying to convince Worm to come down so we can go.
Come hang.
To San Antonio. Gotta go.
Nice. With that said, remember, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Bye. Listen to some good music.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Have a safe trip to Austin and have a great show, man.
Thanks, y'all. You have a good weekend.
You too, brother. Thank you.
Take it easy.